The big idea of this teaching is that God created spiritual beings called angels and demons. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that angels and demons are characters that we see on television. But let me tell you that angels are not dead relatives or mystical spirits or the personification of our positive or negative emotions. Angels are spectral beings created by God with celestial and heavenly bodies. I encourage you to read through the passages in the notes below that talk more about it. Angels are intelligent beings. They can show emotion, they can exercise their own will, and they were created by God to declare and promote the glory and will of God, both in the physical world and in the spiritual world. In the physical realm, angels actively execute God's desires. They're God's agents to bring about His will in our society, whatever that might be at a particular point in time. In fact, the Bible is clear that today, angels are sent by God to help believers in situations. They observe Christian life and suffering, they encourage and they comfort, and they care for those who are righteous at death. The Bible also tells us that they reveal God's response to prayer, and they help to win those who have rejected God. The Bible tells us that in the spiritual realm, God's angels battle fallen angels called demons, which we will get to in a moment. On their way to exercise God's will in the earth, God's angels will battle demons in the spiritual realm. In the eternal heaven, angels worship God eternally and give Him glory. See, God originally created angels in a hierarchy of authority, and it's the same hierarchy continued on to this day. Angels are mentioned over 200 times in the Bible, and there are different speculation about them, but we do know the following type of angels exist: seraphim, cherubim, and archangels. So who is Satan and what are demons? Well, Satan was a lead angel in heaven who oversaw a third of the angels, and he managed all the music in heaven, but he rebelled against God, and he and 1/3 of these angels that he oversaw were thrown out of heaven by God. And when they were thrown out of heaven, he and his angels lost their heavenly bodies, and they look for physical bodies to live in. Satan and his demons they're not omnipresent, they're not omnipotent, they're not omniscient, but they're highly organized, and their desire is to focus their world against God. See, in the very beginning, Satan deceives Adam and Eve, and he gains authority over humanity in the earth. But Jesus put together a plan to return the authority that Satan had back to himself. And because of Jesus, he lost his influence in the earth. And so today, Jesus is in the process of restoring God's authority in the earth. So Satan's powerless against Christ's followers, and he does have an eternity prepared for him in that separation realm of hell. Demons are under Satan's strict orders, and they're credited with so many different kinds of activities: stealing, killing, and destroying God's good creation, accusing believers before God, deceiving and tempting, causing false visions and dreams, making evil appear harmless, lying, fear, temptation, division, causing tormenting thoughts, and bringing some sicknesses even to people, and channeling. The focus is that as a believer of Jesus, you do not have to fear Satan. You have to know that if you're on God's side, you're on the winning side. And no matter what he will try to do in the spiritual world, trying to affect our physical world, God's power is always the greatest. And you just need to put your trust and faith in him. Knowing about angels and demons is important to the life of a believer. We do not need to fear because God has sent his angels to protect us, and they fight for us in the spiritual realm, and we know that God is the winner and he is on our side.